Basic tools required to carry out the job of replacing your brake discs and pads: a wheel brace, a G-clamp, a flat blade and posi drive screwdriver, and possibly a 7mm Allen key on most vehicles. It's worth having a Haynes Workshop manual handy to be sure you've got the right tools for the job before you begin. In this demonstration we're going to fit a set of Rossini Performance brake discs with standard pads. Whether performance or standard discs, the fitting procedure is exactly the same. Take the wheel brace and slightly loosen off each of the wheel nuts. Then find the appropriate place to place the jack and jack the car up. Now position an axle stand in place for added safety. All wheel nuts can now be removed and the wheel taken off the car. In some cases where the wheel's not been off the vehicle for some time, you may need to rock the wheel or hit it from behind to remove it from the hub. Lift the bonnet and remove the brake fluid reservoir cap and place some tissue around the outside in case any brake fluid is lost when you push the piston back on the brake caliper. Remove the two guide pins from the back of the caliper. These hold the brake caliper onto the carrier. In most cases you can simply move the caliper straight off the disc once these are removed. However, in this case there is a slight lip on the disc, so we'll need to push the piston back slightly. Take your screwdriver and push it back against the brake pad, pushing the piston back into the caliper. It only needs to go back a couple of millimeters and the brake caliper can now be removed. Remove the caliper off your brake disc and carrier. In some cases the brake pads are held in by springs. Simply detach these to remove your pads. If your brake pads have clips on the back, simply push them to remove them from the caliper. Thoroughly clean the caliper with brake cleaner to remove any dust and dirt. Don't use any other kind of solvent, as this can damage the rubber around the piston of the caliper. A clean, dust-free caliper prevents brake squeal. Ideally, use a G-clamp to push the piston back into the caliper. Now ensure your brake pads are dust-free and then smear copper grease onto the back of the brake pad. This ensures that you will avoid any brake squeal. To refit the brake pads, it's a reverse action from how they were taken out of the caliper. Now the brake disc can be removed from the hub. Simply locate the retaining screw and remove it. In some cases you may need to hit the back of the disc with a mallet to remove it from the hub. Ensure there is no dirt or rust on the hub itself. The new disc needs to go onto a clean hub. Any dirt between can cause brake judder or uneven braking. On the brake disc you'll find a small lip on the outside of the disc. This lip identifies just how much brake wear you have. On most vehicles, anything more than 1mm each side of the disc will make the brake disc illegal. To check the legal thickness of the brake discs on your vehicle, you can call the staff at Carparts Direct and they can advise immediately. Make sure your new disc is completely clean and grease-free using brake cleaner to clean it first. Then position onto the hub onto a good clean surface. With the brake disc positioned in place, replace the retaining screw back in its position and nip it up firmly. You can now fit the caliper back onto the carrier. Position the caliper back in place. Apply some copper grease onto the guide pin threads for easy removal next time you replace your brakes. Insert the guide pins and tighten them firmly. Now we can put the wheel back on the car. Simply line the wheel up with the studs. Only hand tighten the nuts at first, working from one side to the opposite side. And be sure not to cross thread. Nip them up with the wheel brace, and when the car's back off the jack you can give them a final check. Now jack the car up slightly and remove the axle stand from under your vehicle. Then lower the vehicle to the ground and remove the jack. Now press your brake pedal repeatedly until it becomes firm. Then check your brake fluid level and top up if required, and then replace the cap. Now carefully drive away, pressing the brake pedal repeatedly to ensure the pressure is sufficient. As with all brake discs and pads, you should allow 200 miles of bedding in time, during which time heavy braking should be avoided. To have these brakes fitted to a franchise dealership would have cost about £130, and that's for labour only. You can buy the product yourself and save. Even if you take them to an ordinary garage, a non-franchise dealership, they will charge you about £45 to £50. The whole procedure of fitting the brakes to this vehicle took 45 minutes, and on most cars it's less than an hour. This video is provided as a guide only, and we recommend using a Haynes Workshop manual to repair your vehicle. You can order a set of OE specification brake discs and pads and save up to 65% on the dealer prices by ordering online from the Carparts Direct website. To order, visit www.carparts-direct.co.uk or call 0871 918 1800.